Your parents were both in the game.
Well, actually, it was 4. I had my grandmother and my grandfather too.
Your grandmother was in the game too?
Yeah,
This sounds like Snowfall.
Yeah, like they got it from my moms and my pops got it from my grandma and my granddad. My granddad was like a big deal over there.
I saw you bring young Jeezy to the hood recently in your vlog.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I was legendary, man. It was epic. To bring him like on the block we grew up.
All the motorcycles, that was crazy.
Like we Jeezy damn near raised us over there through his music. You know, like dudes was, when Jeezy came out in Detroit, man, that shit hit Detroit like crack.
You said one time I had to sell my watch to get coke and re-up.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that situation. How were you down bad? Was it lack of discipline?
Being young, man.
Yeah.
You know, just young and blowing through money. It's so easy to blow through money.
All right. Straight off the roof. Assets, busy working on my fucking legendary career. All right. Welcome to Capital Culture, and I'm your host, Christopher Wheeler. And if you've been enjoying the interviews all year, please make sure to like and subscribe. We're running out of Moonlight Studios, brand new set. Shout out Rob, Sava, and Yusuf setting that out. And we're gonna be rocking here all night. Now, we have a very special interview today. We have someone who's fresh off the plane from Detroit City. We got an OG in the building. He's all about posting less and living more. That is right. Without further ado, we have Payrolls Giovanni in the building.
What up, though? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I appreciate you coming through. You're making a lot of noise.
For sure.
So I have a lot to cover in this. So without further ado, I'm gonna just start off with a simple question. I ask all the artists that come on the show, who is Payrolls Giovanni? How do you describe yourself?
Let me see. That's a good question. How do I describe myself? I would say just a hustler from Detroit, you know, from the west side. That took my circumstances and made the best out of it, for real. You know, laid back dude, want to get the money and just stay out of bullshit, prosper, you know.
I hear you. You grew up on Strathmore in Detroit. What are some challenges for you growing up there?
On Strathmore, shit, everything was a challenge over there, man. You know, really just staying focused and knowing your path, you know. It was easy to just get distracted and get into some bullshit, you know. I got into some bullshit.
Yeah.
But you know, I played it smart, you know.
Now, it was kind of interesting that you kind of just touched on, like, there's a lot of bullshit going around, but you kind of had a very, for lack of a better term, special circumstance because your parents were both in the game.
Yeah.
So how was that growing up with a family in the game, and who gave you the most advice? Because I feel like being in the game, you got to be wise and whatnot to be in the game. So growing up with two parents that were actively...
Well, actually, it was 4. I had my grandmother and my grandfather too.
Your grandmother was in the game too?
Yeah,
This sounds like Snowfall.
Yeah, like they got it from my moms and my pops got it from my grandma and my granddad. My granddad was like a big deal over there. But for me, it was cool. Like growing up, I was just spoiled. You know, I had everything. I was a fly little kid. You know, we had the best of everything. We was living ghetto fabulous. So
it kind of reminds me of like hearing this is like you've obviously seen Get Rich or Die Trying. You know, you know at the intro when he's explaining his mom, and he's like, my mom always grinds and makes sure I have the nicest shoes and shit and whatnot. So that was kind of like a little synonymous to your upbringing a little bit, I'd say.
I didn't know who bought me the shoes, man.
All you know
I would
that
always
they was
ask
there.
my mama, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know where the money came from for real, man.
Now, you were growing up with them and your house got raided about 3 to 4 times growing up. How did that affect you as a young child? And how did you take that at such a young age?
That was just when I peeped that my family was into some shit that wasn't normal, you know. And that's when they had to sit down and tell me what they was doing, you know, because I peeped everybody knew what was going on except for me. And once I peeped what it was and shit, you know. I got
Did
with
it
the
bother you?
program.
Did it bother you hearing that from your parents? Like, or did you feel like, like this is not normal, or did you just like, okay,
Nah,
Mom,
it ain't bothering me. It was just like, okay, this is what we doing now. I know what's going on.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So I wasn't green, you know, like that. You know, I started even moving different. Yeah.
Now, you're quoted as saying Detroit has its own like flash and style going on. When you were growing up, how did you like to show your flash and style via clothes, jewelry?
What age? Like what age range?
Let's say between 16 and 21.
Oh
like
shit, them Cartier glasses and Alcyon leather jackets.
Okay.
Alcyon leathers was like a big deal in Detroit. Like dudes was getting robbed for them, killed for them.
Killed.
Cartier glasses too. Yeah, so if you had the Cartiers and the Alcyon jackets and like some Prada boots or some Maury's or something, you know, you was one of them guys. Yeah.
I saw in one of the videos, I think it was a Mob Life videos, a 7 Mile chain being thrown up, and it kind of brought me to thinking when you were growing up, the 8 Mile story, and how did that have an impact growing up in Detroit on you as an artist or as a young kid, seeing Eminem do it out of the city kind of first? Or how did that story impact you as a
What you mean, like the movie?
The movie, the whole, because 8 Mile obviously is a
I
story.
mean,
that
the
come up with
movie
Eminem.
was just a movie.
No, and it was based on.
It's based on Eminem, but it ain't like when you watch it, you don't get a feel for Detroit. For real.
Okay,
You know?
fair enough.
Not to discredit it, but you know, not the Detroit that I grew up in.
Okay.
It's more just like a movie about Eminem's life. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to see like the Detroit culture and all of that, man, I don't know what movie. You probably had to watch one of them ghetto movies. You know
Okay,
what I'm
no, I
saying?
hear
On
you.
Tubi.
Or what? Was Four Brothers? Not
Yeah,
shot?
Four Brothers is based on.
That was in Detroit, right?
I think it was based on Detroit. I probably
Okay.
shot a little bit of it.
Fuck.
They did play East Side Cheddar Boys and Blade Icewood in that movie though.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was you know, hype to see that. You know.
When you were growing up, who did you gravitate towards when it came to music? How do you remember getting into music? Like, what was the first steps for you to be like, all right, I'm gonna start? Like, 'cause I know it started with DoughboyzCashout, but how did that start? How did you and the homies be like, all right?
Man, the Street Lords, they was a big deal in Detroit. Street Lords. That's I don't know if you heard of Blade Icewood.
I had
Blade
Lil-
Icewood is like our Tupac.
Okay.
Like he was that guy, and he came from the Street Lord camp. So we grew up listening to Street Lords and Blade Icewood, and you know, we got to rapping. You know, we kind of carried ourselves like the Street Lords, and we kind of sounded like the Street Lords. But that was the sound for Detroit, you know, at the time. But man, we just got to rapping, just playing around.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was gonna do what it did.
For you personally, when did you know you're like, oh, I can this could be an occupation for me? Like, I know you guys started as a group, but was there a moment where you're like, yo, like I think I could go out as a solo act and, you know?
I don't know, man. It wasn't really a moment where I was like, I'm gonna go solo. It was just, you know, just keeping the business going. You know, like I always just been heavy in the studio, heavy like on the direction of the videos, heavy on the sound of the album and everything. So it was kind of easy for me to do a solo album. And I just did that just to keep shit going.
I hear you. Now, you just, I feel like, was it a recent signing to Jeezy? You recently signed to Jeezy?
No, that was in 20, shit.
So you've been
13,
under
14.
So you've been under him since then? No.
Nah, we signed that deal back then, 2013, 14, and honestly, we ain't never dropped an album, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, we never dropped the album. We was like,
So how does that
signed
work?
it. Something went wrong with Atlantic and Jeezy or something, and like they parted ways, and we was on the label, and so then we was free agents after that. So it was like we just got a free bag, and we just got up out of there.
So are you? that works out. So right now, are you running as an independent?
Yeah, I'm independent. I got a situation with Empire, you know, like a partnership, but
Distribution deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
okay.
I'm an independent artist. I've been an independent artist.
Do you prefer that rather than
Yeah,
the label?
yeah, that works for me, man.
Well, wait, when you were at a label, what were some of the annoyances that you don't you're happy you don't have to deal with anymore?
Probably them just trying to figure out a way to market you, and it might not fit your style. You know, it might not fit the type of artist you is, and
So
they think what works for this one gonna work for you, and it don't go like that. You know, and them owning your music. You know, like
That's
they
right.
They give you advance or something, and now they own your music. I don't get that part for real.
As an independent artist, where do you see the most success financially? Is it touring, or would it be getting all the royalties on your music because you're 100% independent? Where do you see the most success? Like for some of the younger artists watching you, and they might want to stay independent, where do you have the most success financially?
For me, like it's different artists is gonna vary, but for me, it's the albums, the streams,
Okay.
owning my catalog, like
Interesting.
getting paid for music that I dropped 10 years ago to this day.
So you still own everything from
Yeah,
back then?
most
You
definitely.
never signed anything over?
Nah, I signed an album. I mean, I had a deal with DefJam for one album, for Big Boston 2.
Okay.
So they had that album, but
Would you ever consider selling your catalog down the line when you're looking to retire? Or?
I don't know.
They're going for big bags.
Yeah, I ain't against it, but
Buy some
right
more.
now it's like that's what I've been working towards. That's like my real estate.
100%.
My asset, for sure.
I saw you bring Young Jeezy to the hood recently in your vlog.
Yeah.
What was that like?
That was legendary, man. That was epic. To bring him like on the block we grew up
All
on.
the motorcycles,
Yeah.
that was crazy.
Like Jeezy damn near raised us over there through his music. You know, like dudes when Jeezy came out in Detroit, man, that shit hit Detroit like crack. Like everybody just was like, man, we gotta step our shit up, get money.
Yeah.
You know, that dudes was focused, like we ain't doing shit. Cause that was the first time we ever seen some shit like that. Like the Jeezy DVD where you saw him in BMF and the Lamborghinis and the Porsche trucks, like that motivated everybody so heavy.
How do you, because when I hear your name, a lot of people attach OG or Pioneer to it. How do you think you're perceived, let's say in Detroit? The reason I ask this, I'm going to read a comment that was left on one of your YouTube videos. I thought it was quite touching, but I just want to know how you think you're perceived and how your music is received, and then I'm going to read this comment because I think it's
I would say like a motivator.
motivation.
Like motivation. you
Absolutely.
like a life coach or something like that.
Okay, I'm glad you said
Yeah.
that. So that was a perfect segue. Thank you for setting it up here. So this is what the guy said. Man, I started listening to Pay during my freshman year of college. I was the only dude from my hood to go to college, and I went 4 hours away. I was dolo. Had to make new friends, and on top of that, my parents couldn't help me financially. Listening to Pay motivated me to get it by any means. So I sold a little weed, I worked 2 jobs, all while I was in college. Everybody thought I was rich, but it was just the way I carried myself and hustled. Pay taught me when to stack and when to ball. Now as a 30-year-old man with a wife and 2 kids, his music still impacts me to this day.
That's dope. Yeah.
That's crazy to leave, just from your music, people are getting life lessons. So I think
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, but that's the type of music I make.
100%.
I don't preach a bunch of dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like get money, man, and put your energy towards what matters for real. You know, like your family and your legacy and all of that. Like a lot of shit just be distractions, man, for real.
How did you portray that message in your latest album, Ghost Mode? From your features to the titles of the songs. Talk to me about that.
I mean, for one, the album called Ghost Mode, because it's like you disappearing from everything. You know, you just focused on what it is you got to achieve, like your goals or whatever. So you just cutting off just distractions, the club, the whatever, your friends don't want to grow, whatever it is, you know, you just locked in on what you got to do. So that whole album from front to back is like motivation and grinding music, for real.
Now, I heard, I know you're quite close with your mom. She had you when you were quite young. At the beginning of Half Ounce, that's her on her being sampled, I
it's
believe.
my mom's and my grandma.
That's
yeah.
So what was that like?
Shout out to Mom Dukes.
Shout out Mama Dukes.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Where'd you get that idea? Did you bring them into the studio to do it?
Yeah, I brought them in the studio.
They must have loved that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The idea of that song came because, man, yeah, half ounce, they was right there with me.
100%.
You know, my first half zip. Yeah, they was right there with me. That's kind of when my life changed for real.
I was listening to one of your songs, and you said one time I had to sell my watch to get coke and re-up.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that situation. How were you down bad? Was it lack of discipline? What happened there?
Being young, man.
Yeah.
You know, just young and blowing through money. It's so easy to blow through money and just be caught up in the moment. And you look up and you just like, damn, I done fucked up all my money. You know, all you doing is having fun and getting fly every day, going to the club and all that shit.
I hear you. I've been there.
But that's why sometimes like, you gotta buy, you know, the watches and all that shit. That shit might save you. I'm down to my last 3 G's.
Investment.
Let me sell this motherfucker.
We've talked a lot in this interview about how great of a storyteller you are. I kind of want to know what your writing process is like. Do you write it on paper? You punch it in on the phone? Do you go into the studio and it's just kind of off the top? How do you get down?
I usually write it in my phone. Yeah. Sometimes I write the song first and then tell the producer to make a beat like this.
So he read your lyrics and knows.
No, I tell him like, man, I need a beat that feel like I'm down on my luck, man. And you gotta have some pianos and some string. You know, I go in detail with them. I might send them a song like something that feel like this. You know, a song that's already out, and they'll make it and it'll be
Do you
perfect.
work with selective producers now at this point in your career? You know the ones that know you. Are you open to working with new producers? Where are you at with that?
Both. You know, I work with the ones that know me for real, but I do always. I'm always open to new producers because it's exciting, like getting on new type of beats. And,
Absolutely.
you know.
As a OG in the game and as a pioneer, but you're constantly rebranding yourself, how do you make yourself aware and seen to the younger audience that may not be so familiar with the 2012 to 2015 start of your career, but it's been so long, your longevity. How do you continue to stay relevant?
You know what's crazy, man? I just make the type of music I want to make, and I talk what I know. And the young dudes, they fuck with it. I'd be surprised they even understand what I'm talking about. Like my son, 12, and his friends listen to my music.
Okay.
I'm like, man, y'all can't even know what I'm talking about on this song.
I don't know. I remember at 13, 14, I'd say 15, around 15, I was listening to Immortal Technique. And
I don't even know what
a lyricist such as yourself, and like, man, at 15, I didn't know all of the lyrics.
Now, I was listening to Jay-Z and shit when I was 13, 14, you know, but I didn't know everything he was talking about. And then I got older and I was like, oh, you talking about this and that, you know, so. If the music sound good, it sound good. You know?
100%. Now, you just made a track with a Latin Canadian artist, Bunlo. Tell me how that came about, and tell me about the process of making the song. And just dropped yesterday. I was at the listening party. It was a great time. Shout out Bunlo. Shout out
we
T.
shot
Cam.
that we shot that in Cancun, Mexico. That shit was live.
Yeah?
Man. Had a great time. Showed me a great time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's his neck of the woods, you know. So I'm sure you guys got.
It was a real mobbish.
Yeah. I was looking at the
villas
snaps.
and all type of shit.
There you go. I'm glad that went well, and all the best to the single. Now, where would you see yourself, or how do you see yourself elevating your career in the next 6 months to a year? Not to put you on the spot.
Staying consistent, man. Doing bigger visuals, different collabs, and just branching out to different things. You know, like the CEO role, getting into films. You know, sky's the limit for real.
I was looking at a lot of your discography, and you were one of the reasons T Grizzly started rapping. Can you speak on that? And he's one of the biggest artists of, I'd say, the younger generation to this day. So
Yeah.
How does it feel to inspire one of?
I mean, it feel good. It feel it's a blessing, you know. 'Cause T Grizzly, man, he one of them special ones Like,
Well, a storyteller as well with the lyrics.
yeah, but I mean, he just naturally cold, like with the rap shit. Like when I first heard him, I was like, damn, you know,
Yeah.
he cold. Like I usually don't. Sometimes I don't get shit that pop off when I hear it.
So,
Like,
so he's quick.
but
with
when
it,
I heard
yeah.
his shit, I was like, he
Yeah.
got it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing, man.
No,
you know,
100%.
but Doughboys Cash Out, like that shit was a big deal in Detroit. Like
It was a big wave.
influenced and motivated a lot of people, a lot of younger kids and all of that to rap and to get money, whatever it was, like shining, all of that.
Going forward in the next, let's say 6 to 12 months, do you have plans on working with any major artists out of America? Do you have features in the tuck? I want to give you your camera right here, and you can tell your friends and fans what they can expect in the next 12 months from you musically. I know you just dropped an album, but what do you got coming?
Got a couple collab albums coming with some artists. I'm gonna keep them.
Okay,
keep
doing
them
the talk?
secret, you know, until it's
Okay.
locked in. But got a couple collab albums coming. I got my own film company, so we're about to start working on independent films. You know, probably do a Doughboys Cash Out documentary or something.
Okay.
You know, man, just working, man. Who
Just
knows,
staying
man?
busy.
Tomorrow I might wake up and have a whole new idea. So that's just the type of dude I am.
100%, 100%. Well, I really appreciate you coming through to the interview. This has been Christopher Wheeler, host of Capital Culture with Payroll Giovanni. We'll see you in the next segment, Wheel It or Deal It, where I ask some spicy questions and we'll see what he has to answer. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Appreciate you, for sure.
Thank you so much, yo.